Hey everyone, it's Sam with two M's and welcome to this MYXclusive interview. Woo! I hope everyone is doing okay in this rainy morning here in the Philippines. I hope you're all doing okay. But in just a bit, I'll be having a very special guest who will be joining me, and he's a crazy talented artist who has really been serving us his amazing music that helps us kind of like groove and also dance, but also kind of get up in our feels, which is amazing. And I'm so excited to have him here to talk about how he's been, but also his newest single, which is called Blue. So we'll be talking about that and so much more. So everyone, please welcome to MYXclusive, Sezairi.
Hi.
Woo!
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful morning. Actually, it's raining
Yeah.
here. So
It's raining
how's it
here
over there?
also.
Oh, yay. Really?
Yeah, it's lovely. I love rainy
Oh,
mornings. That's my jam.
yeah. Yes. If I'm not mistaken, you are in Singapore right
Yes, I'm in
now.
Singapore.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you
And
go.
it's been
So
raining really heavily here the
Mhm.
past couple of weeks also.
Oh, really? Well, we
Yeah.
hope everything is, okay over there. It's also been raining recently over here.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice that we have a shared
Yeah.
weather situation right now. It
Southeast
doesn't,
Asia.
yes, it doesn't make it feel too far away.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us on this rainy morning, Cesare. How have you been these days? I know it's been raining a lot and there are a lot of things happening. So how have you been?
I've been okay. Just
Mhm.
got off from doing a couple big projects here in Singapore.
Mhm.
Mainly I was doing the National Day Parade in August. So,
Wow.
yeah, we have a huge National Day Parade in
Mhm.
August, on the 9th of August,
Mhm.
and August is always a fun month because it's the month that I was born.
Oh,
And yeah, it's
wow.
just August is a great month for me. Every year I look
Mhm.
forward to August because it's my birthday, it's the
Mhm.
nation's birthday, and it's all of my best friends were born in August too. So it's like I just got off of this whole August bonanza
Hi.
kind of vibe.
Yeah.
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 So September is kind of looking okay for now because August has been the most positive month of the year for me, I think. So I'm
Mhm.
doing pretty okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds so nice. Like
Yeah.
having everything in August, true and true Singaporean, celebrating your birthday, but
Yeah.
also Singapore's birthday in August. So was there anything like special that you did aside from, of course, participating in your national parade? Like for your birthday, was like anything cool that you did for your birthday to
Not
celebrate?
really, not really. There wasn't really any time to celebrate
Yeah,
my
yeah.
birthday, I think,
Mhm.
but I did have a little staycation. Just
Oh,
a small
fun.
one, yeah. Just and I
Mhm.
was for the whole day. I was literally in the bathtub.
Oh,
That was it. I was
I
just
love
like
that.
bath bomb, bathtub, and I was in the tub like, oh god, don't disturb me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I love that.
kind of just
Like
reset.
that is definitely a vibe.
Yeah.
Bath bomb, just kind of taking time for yourself. I feel like that's a great way to
Hmm.
celebrate your birthday. I mean, this is living, like just sitting there and just like enjoying time. Why not? I mean, that's so cool. And I
Yeah.
love that you were able to do a lot of things in August too, especially, with everything that's been going on in the world in the last year and a half. At least you're able to kind of have that whole August high, really. So that's really fun.
Yeah, it's been
Um,
rough for everyone, right? And
yeah, for sure.
I hope everyone's staying safe out there.
Mhm.
It's been
Yeah.
really tough mentally, I think. I think now we're
Mhm.
at that point where mentally we're being challenged. Before this it was like
Yes.
emotionally and physically.
Yeah.
Now it's just like how long more can you take this?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I hope
Yeah.
everyone's in a healthy headspace.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's I feel like our hope for everyone, really. I totally get what you mean. After
Yeah.
being, experiencing this for how long already, it's kind of
Mm,
like getting mentally taxing for
yeah.
everyone. So for you, Cesare, what are the things that you kind of do to kind of get yourself out of that, or like maybe protect your peace and like, the kind of
Mm,
mindset that you have too?
mm. It's funny you ask because I
Mhm.
think for me, I'm really the kind of guy that does things in phases.
Oh.
The thing is, I've never really adhered in my life
Mhm.
because I was a musician from when I was young. So
Mhm.
I was a working musician from when I was 19 years old. So
Mhm.
I never really adhered to the 9 to 5 work schedule, which I think now that I'm adult, I think it's really useful for you to have a consistent schedule and
Mm.
to know when the sun is setting, for example, or to know when the sun is rising, for example. I think it's really good for
Mhm.
the equilibrium of your body, but I've never
Mhm.
really adhered to that. So everything I've done has been kind of in phases. Like this next few months, I'm gonna write an album and I'm not gonna sleep. So it's kind of just like my
Whoa.
body. Yeah. So it's just
Yeah.
I'm trying to find better ways to do it, and I'm
Mhm.
definitely trying to understand how I work better. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I'm trying to sort out my schedule so that I can have better bursts in these phases of doing stuff. But
Mhm.
I like you said, I do have phases where once I'm done with this like 2-3 months of doing something really intense, I'll have like
Mhm.
an entire 2 weeks of just lying in the tub or something like that. Yeah, I'm just so used to like doing going 150% and then
Mhm.
relaxing 200%.
Yeah.
Instead of going like I'm gonna work 80% and 20% of the time I'm gonna chill. I feel like I'm just so used to that. It's not healthy
Yeah.
by any means, but it's just
Mhm.
something that I'm pretty much used to. So if you
Mhm.
ask me how I relax like to the maximum.
I
I'm
love
like
that.
Avengers Endgame kind of relaxation for me. Like there's no holes
Yeah.
barred, no
Mhm.
cap, no nothing. Let's relax. And yeah, that's
No,
kind of just how I do it.
yeah, I love that you do everything to 100%, like max, I mean, I can
Yeah.
imagine that is pretty. I feel like I'm also kind of that way. Like I feel like everything I want to do, I kind of want to do to the maximum amount
Yeah.
of effort that I can give, even if that means like relaxing. But I love that you
Mm.
kind of put it in phases too, because I feel like sometimes when we can just kind of keep going, it can also get really tiring, if you know what I
It's
mean. Like
bad.
just, yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
It's kind
Yeah,
of like
it
drinking
is.
too much Red Bull and when the
Yeah.
crash comes, it's oh god. Yep.
Yeah, that's so true. And I feel like, especially nowadays, it's just like everything is extra tiring,
Oh
even though we're kind
yeah.
of just like at home, right? So
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like we all have to kind of deal with stuff in our own way and
Yeah.
all of that. But I kind of really relate to you in that sense. Like I also do live in phases. But when it
Yeah.
comes to like music, how has that been? Like what phase are you in right now when it comes to creating music?
I'm in a phase where, oh crap, a lot of people like my song. What do I do next? Yeah,
Yeah.
kinda. But at
Mhm.
the same time, I don't know. I've been releasing music for the better half of the last decade,
Yeah, yeah.
and for me, it's just been a consistent thing. And
Hmm.
sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. It
Hmm.
just so happens that this time around, it's hitting really hard, and I'm just kind of realizing different things about myself as I go along too with
Mhm.
all the new listeners that have been coming in this year.
Yeah.
I've realized a lot about my style of writing. I've kind of realized like what people like, what works, what doesn't, what I can
Mhm.
do to
Mhm.
connect better. Because what I've learned about myself is, as I was
Yeah.
saying, is that the songs that work best for me are the ones that I usually think uh afraid to let go. There are some songs that I'm afraid to let go
Oh,
because they're like too personal. Like when I wrote It's
yeah.
You, it was kind of just slightly too uncomfortable at the
Oh,
start.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it was a snapshot from a really personal time. Like
Mhm, mhm.
it was about specific time, and all my songs are love songs about a
Mhm,
specific time of in a specific experience that I've encountered. And
mhm.
I'm just a person who's very observant about people's behaviors and people's
Mm,
reactions to the things I say. So
yeah.
my songs are always about that. And the things that I found most successful about them is when I'm really authentic about my experiences. It's just
Mhm,
there's no other way of, I think, writing a song that's gonna get into people's consciousness,
mhm. Yeah.
if it's other than it being a soundtrack to whatever they're doing. When you listen
Mhm.
to something, I'm so happy that when people listen to my song, they go like, this, I want to do this because I'm listening to the song.
Yeah, yeah.
And that empowers me also, to keep
Mhm,
writing things that empower other people. Like,
mhm.
when I listen to this, I want to find the right person. When I
Oh,
listen to this, I know that I deserve better. When I listen to this, I
yeah.
know not to miss you so much because you're toxic. That
Mhm.
kind of thing, like,
Oh,
I feel like it's so easy to get people to change their minds once melodies are involved. Once
oh.
if you like your mom talks to you in a harsh
Mhm.
tone, no matter how factual or realistic,
Yeah.
or how much you how much you understand where she's coming from, it's gonna
Mhm,
be
mhm. Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
Sorry,
But when
mom.
it's presented to you in a way that can connect to you, like in a
Yeah.
song, for example, it's like, you have to make that connection for yourself. I think as human
Yeah.
beings, whenever you
Mhm.
realize something, that connection has
Mhm.
to come from within you, not from an external factor. So
Yeah.
I really love that my songs can do that, and that's what I really
Mhm.
aspire to do. It gives you this click in your head that
Yeah.
damn. And that's
Yeah.
what I live for, really. I that's the Instagram DM that I look forward to reading. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
dear Sezairi, when I listened to
Mhm.
this, something clicked in my heart. And now
Oh.
we're 6 months pregnant. I don't know. Something like
Oh
that.
wow. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, I've
Mhm.
gotten things like that where people are just like, hey, check out my wedding video. Or check out
Oh.
my yeah, like I met my boyfriend while I was listening to
Oh,
this song, and it's just
that's
so
crazy.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I think that's one of my favorite things about music too, kind of how it's able to inspire and kind of like evoke feelings that
Yeah.
you didn't really you didn't expect it to kind of come out, but when you
Yeah.
listen to music, it just kind of like purges itself out of you, which I think is so beautiful. Because obviously, I can imagine as an artist, it's also really difficult to share certain personal things about yourself or your experience because it's like
Mm,
an extension of
yeah.
yourself, right? Being out there for other people to kind of really consume in this kind of medium. But to have, yeah, I can imagine people who say that, this happened because of your music, or I felt this because of your music must have been such an amazing feeling,
Yeah, it's a trip.
especially like I saw you also did kind of a reaction video to people who did
Yeah.
like certain versions of It's You, and how it's also been growing a lot now. You released it not like like kind of a few years ago,
Yeah, 3 years ago.
2013.
Mm.
Yeah, so how crazy is it that it's kind of still living this kind of, it's still alive in the sense that people are still relating to it and still having these amazing experiences 3 years
Yeah.
down the line.
It's crazy because when I wrote the song in the studio, I remember we were in Sweden. And the
Mhm.
first thing I said as a joke was like, I'm gonna guys, we need to write a ballad because I messed up. I messed up my wedding night. Now we were all laughing because
Oh,
my wife was there. And then we were all laughing like, let's give it a go. and
oh
then
my god.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
we that was the first thing we wrote in that songwriting session.
Mhm.
Like we had a week long session
Mhm.
and I wrote 4 songs in a week, but that
Yeah.
was the first one that I wrote. It was It's You.
Mhm.
And it was literally an intention that we set starting, like this is a love song. This is
Wow.
a let's try to make it a hit love song. And what is it gonna be about? It's an apology. Cause that
Oh.
on my wedding night, I
Mhm.
literally forgot our speeches. Like it was a like my girlfriend at that time, who's my wife now, she wrote a
Yeah.
3-page long, like A4 size,
Only
three
A4
pages
size.
3 pages of A4 size without
Oh
any
my gosh.
spaces. So like
Mhm.
she wrote a long ass speech, and she's like a super anxious person, so she has to be prepared all the time.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad. Like if you have anxiety, you know what it's like to get on stage
Yeah.
without your script.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like
yeah.
holy crap. And there were
Yeah, yeah.
hundreds of people there. So I felt so bad because I knew that was my responsibility to kind of put it find it somewhere. But and at
Yeah.
the end of the night,
Mhm.
um I realized that it was in my jacket breast pocket all along. That was literally in
Oh.
my heart right here in my
Yeah.
yeah. And I realized, I remembered that I'm gonna put it close to my heart so I don't forget. But I
Yeah.
ended up forgetting anyway. So
Oh my god.
yeah, it's so bad. So that's the reason why I wrote the song. And
Mhm.
yeah, I just wanted to, and my entire career before we were married, um, after I won this competition called Idol,
Mhm.
it's a Singapore version of the Idol competition, right?
Yeah.
Singapore Idol. And I won the third season.
Mhm.
Everybody kept telling me that, maybe you don't want to advertise your relationship too much. And at that point in
Yeah.
time, we had only started dating before this whole media
Oh,
frenzy came
wow.
around. Yeah. And like
Yeah.
she stuck with me from the moment, like she started from the
Mhm.
bottom, now we're here kind of situation. So
Oh, that's
it's
good.
been like, yeah, it's been crazy that she stuck with
Mhm.
me through this entire like
Mhm.
journey the past 10 years.
Mhm.
And I remember when we first started dating, people were saying like, maybe just keep it on the down low first,
Mhm.
and you don't want people to say stuff. And
Yeah.
it's always, so the first 7 years of our relationship has always been kind of like, let's not hold hands in public, let's not
Oh,
talk about this stuff.
really?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's really frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since in my mind I thought like no one cares, man.
Yeah,
In my
that's
mind,
true.
I'm like, no one gives a crap,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
But just external influences were like, maybe you just want to be safe and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's you is literally an amalgamation of everything
Mhm.
that I felt towards like, you know what, I don't care anymore what people know
Oh
about who I
yeah.
deserve to fall in love with or not. And it was just like an outburst. So the funny thing is, like, that song being my most successful song is
Yeah.
hilarious to me because it's so like there's literally so much history and weight to that song.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
I
it
love
being my
that.
most successful song is kind of
Mhm.
ironic and weird,
Mhm.
and just like now in
No.
my head I'm like, how deep do these other songs need to be,
Yeah.
like what other crazy experiences
Oh
do I need to jump out
yeah.
of a plane, or
Mhm. Yeah, I can imagine. But
yeah,
like I love that it just came from that like whole experience that you had, and like it was like an apology that you had for everything that kind of happened in the past, and now it's being used at other people's weddings, other
yeah,
people's like relationships. So it's just crazy. It's kind of funny too at the same time because like you said, it's a little bit ironic, but I love
yeah,
that it kind of just became this thing, and it became even more like a amazing celebration of not just like your love for your wife, but also the love of other people all around the world. So it's so fun. I love the song 100 times more now after you
thank
share
you.
that whole story. But I love that like we keep saying, your music is able to connect to so many people, evoke so many emotions. And when I was listening to Blue, your newest single, I love it so much because like from the get-go it was like sonically I love how it sounded, very groovy and all of that. But when I was listening to the lyrics, it's like a little bit like all up in the feels, kind of a little bit sad, but the sound is a little bit like, kind of
Oh,
makes me want to dance.
I appreciate that you get that.
Yeah, right. But I was like, wow, I love this whole dynamic going on Blue. So could you tell us more?
Dude,
What was it like?
seriously,
Yeah.
when I the first thing that I said was, this
Mhm.
song is happy but it's sad.
Yeah.
And the producers were
Exactly.
like, okay. And it's funny that you say that because I feel like everything else I literally wrote this like the
Mhm.
first half of lockdown, and like
Mhm.
um I wrote it in 5 minutes because it was
Oh,
such
no
a
way.
frustrating period in my life. Like I literally
Yeah.
burst into my studio door, put a
Yeah.
stool in the middle of the room, picked up my guitar, and went like,
Yeah.
even in the times my heart is feeling blue. Yeah, and like it was such a like stream of consciousness kind of
Yeah.
moment for me.
Mhm.
But literally the song is really just about having the space to fix anything, like
Mhm.
having a neutral space to fix anything. I feel
Yeah.
like in relationships, more often than not, we're not on the same when we're fighting or when
Mhm.
we are not agreeing on something, regardless of whether it's a person or whatever. You're not The reason why you're not talking to each other properly or understanding each other is because literally you're in the wrong frequency. Like, that's how I see
Mhm.
it, right?
Yeah.
And Blue is kind of about understanding that between the two of you, you need to have a frequency that you can go to
Yeah.
if things go bad. Like, you need to have a
Mhm.
safe space. You need to have a space where you can dial everything back to zero or to
Mhm.
neutral,
Mhm.
and then just talk it out based on like facts and based on truth.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's kind of why I wrote like, even in the times my heart is feeling blue, there's a little room inside for me and you. It's kind of That's basically what the song is
Mhm.
about. It's just
Yeah.
having this having the sense of security that no matter how messed up things get, that there's a room in there that you have the key to, that you can
Oh.
access
Yeah.
as lovers, or
Mhm.
as a family or whatever,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just being able to go there and reset and
Mhm.
think about things in a proper way. I think
Mhm. No,
that's kind
yeah.
of really just essentially what the song is about. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's so needed in any kind of
Yeah.
relationship. I feel like doesn't even have to be just like you and your significant other. And like any kind of like relationship, you kind of have to go back into that like safe space that
Mm.
you were mentioning. But I love that it was kind of a burst of emotion that you had that was just, that you really poured into the song. But that's like because the song itself is like it's a lot of emotion, right? But the song like sonically is like
Mm.
really really happy. So how did you end up in that kind of like this is what you wanted to do with the song? I wanted to sound like
So
this.
when I wrote the first verse and second
Yeah.
verse, like the second verse was a bit dark, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, like the sound, like we were producing it, and then the
Mhm.
second verse was sounding a bit dark,
Mhm.
and when we were producing it, it was like, oh, this has such a, like, it makes people want to move forward,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
that's something that I do, is like I think of the
Mhm.
bad things, but my body is moving forward. And that's the only way to do it, right? Because the
Mhm.
bad things, they won't get out of your head. They
Yes.
never will. The most
Yeah.
important thing is that you keep moving forward and understand that these things pass. These things don't stick. They're like waves. They come and then they go. So when
Mhm.
we were producing that, I remembered saying that, you know what, I think we need a female voice on it.
Yeah.
And I was DMing a lot of people
Mhm.
in and around the region, asking like, hey, do you
Mhm.
want to write a verse on this? Let's give this a
Mhm.
try. And someone came back to me with an incredible verse. So this new singer from South Korea called
Mhm.
Misfits,
Mhm.
and she's a singer songwriter, and I think she is a songwriting student in university or something
Oh,
before this, and
wow.
she just blew me away with
Mhm.
whatever she wrote. And basically, the verse that she wrote in the second half of the song
Mhm.
really, to me, felt like a warm hug. It was
Yeah.
all that I was looking for. Like, she
Mhm.
starts off the line with, "Don't you worry," and I'm like, the moment she sang that, it was kind of like, now
Mhm.
we've established that this is what we need to do to enhance the positivity in our lives. And here the other voice is reassuring the
Mhm.
fact that this security is needed. And
Yeah.
whatever she sang in Korean was basically just felt like it was two people enveloping each other. And that was
Mhm.
just, to me, that was, and I told the label, like, this is it, this girl, she is it, just watch her fly.
Yeah.
Seriously, I'm so excited about her career too. And there's so
Mhm.
many talented talented
Mhm.
singer songwriters in Asia that I think
Mhm.
really don't get enough credit, because
Mhm.
there's just so many.
Mhm.
But I think, as much as I can, I always try to listen to newer artists, because there's
Mhm.
there's so much you can learn from new ideas too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That is
that's
so
something that
true.
I really appreciate about her coming on board. That she just,
Mhm.
like, she was open with, even though she didn't speak much English.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we tried to Google Translate our conversations, but we were
Oh,
directly
wow.
conversing with each other. Yeah, and there was a certain sense of connection too, because I really love Korean food. Like, it's my
Oh,
most
yeah.
favorite food in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I keep telling her, like, I like these, like, really niche type of Korean foods, and she's like, that's something only my grandmother eats. And I'm like, okay, I like that. Yeah, and we connected on that level, kind of.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, but
Oh.
yeah, it was really nice. I think it's
Mhm.
really nice to always get an opportunity to work with people in and around the region, especially in
Mhm. Mhm.
Asia. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. Like, even though, there was like a language barrier, being able to connect through, I mean, different culture, but also like through music, I think such an amazing thing being able
Yeah.
to work on it too. And I remember I was listening to the song and I thought her verse had added like like another dimension to the song. Like, the song is really, really good, like very groovy. Like, and like I said, with the lyrics, it felt very like a little bit dark, a little bit sad too. So I was having like all of these emotions. And then when I heard her verse, it was very uplifting in like a
Mm,
sense. Like, it felt very like refreshing too, which I thought was really nice. So to everyone who's tuning in, if you haven't yet, definitely check out the newest single, which is called Blue, which is
thank you.
featuring Misfits. It's such a great song. I really love it so much. And it's such a I'm such a dance cry kind of person. And I love that you said I love that you said, I'm gonna, deal with the bad stuff, but move forward. And this song is the
You
perfect
just gave me an
song.
idea. If I ever open a club, I'm gonna call
Yeah.
it the Crying Disco. I'm
Right?
serious.
Dance
Yeah.
cry. Dance
Yeah, and
cry.
everyone's just like catharsis, inside. I had a bad
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that's one of the best feelings. That's living,
yeah, yeah,
feeling all of this
yeah,
emotion
for
and
real.
dancing. Why not? I mean, it's amazing.
I like
And
your
your
style.
song, oh, thank you. That's how I deal with everything going on in the world, through dance crying to music, specifically your newest single, too. I feel like
Thank you.
it's a dance cry kind of song, which makes us even more excited, I feel like, for everything also that you have planned, too. So, in terms of your music, what else can we expect coming from you, Cesari?
this lockdown I've been working on an album.
Yeah.
I don't really have a release date yet, but
Mm-hmm.
it's exciting because sonically it's gonna follow in the footsteps of Raindrops and Blue.
Ooh.
So there's still that urban old school R&B kind of sound to it,
Mm-hmm.
um, which I grew up listening to, and I just can't get out of my system. So that's just forever gonna be my take on things. But I'm really looking forward to everything else that's coming in this album because there's hopefully gonna be a few more collaborations.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, anyone listening to this, if you want to collaborate, feel free to drop me a DM. Anyone in the Philippines. But yeah, I'm really excited for what's to come, and I hope that people will not only be there for the happy songs, but the sad songs and because it's a whole spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just really excited to share it with everyone.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. We're so excited to
Thank
hear
you.
everything that you have cooking up. As much as we love happy songs, we love sad songs too.
Oh
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like everyone wants to cry. I mean, it's always like, especially now it's raining, so
Oh
people love to cry during this time.
yeah.
It's a great environment for that. But we can't wait for everything that you have going on, especially in the
Thank you.
album, and hopefully we can't wait to see also the collaborations that you have planned as well. But before I do let you go, do you have a
Mhm.
message to all of your Filipino fans who are excited for your new music, but also can't wait to see you when the time is right here in the Philippines?
Yeah, I've only recently found out that "It's You" is like number one on in
Yeah.
in the viral charts in the Philippines on
Mhm,
Spotify,
mhm.
and that just blew my mind because in my head,
Yeah.
like Filipinos are like S tier musicians. So there's this
Mhm.
preconceptions that Filipinos are really good at music. And I went to
Oh,
Manila,
thank
and I'm like,
you.
yeah. And when I did gigs I did a gig in
Yeah.
Manila, right? And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is everyone's really good. And then I met this other Filipino artist at a
Mhm,
show I was
mhm.
doing around the region,
Yeah.
called Sam Concepcion.
Oh,
And then
yes.
yeah,
Yes,
I don't know if you,
Sam.
you know Sam. Yeah, so we became friends,
Yes.
and he was introducing me to all these Filipino artists that I'm like, holy crap,
Yeah.
what the hell has been going on here that I
Oh.
don't know about? So it's just incredible to me that a place with such incredible music culture
Mhm,
is
mhm.
listening to my music, and I'm just so appreciative of the listeners in the Philippines because
Yeah.
yeah, I appreciate every single ounce of love that people give me and my song. And I just like to
Mhm.
say thank you for streaming all my music. Don't forget to stream Blue, my newest song, and follow me on
Yes.
socials at Sezairi. And yeah, drop me a DM, whatever.
There you go, you guys. And I love that because just like a little fun fact, Cesare, actually Sam Concepcion, the
Uh-huh.
artist you just mentioned, he actually used to work here with us on Mix.
Oh,
Before
he
I
did?
came along. Yeah, before I became a VJ, he actually also
Oh,
was
cool.
doing, yeah, so super small world. I
Cool.
love
If
it.
you see him,
And
tell him I said hi.
yes, of course. We'll let him know that you still remember that time when he introduced you to a lot of different artists. But just keep doing your things, Cesare. We love your music.
Thank you so
You are
much.
super talented too, and it's no wonder that your music has been doing amazing here in the Philippines, but not just here, but also all around the world. But we are going to savor all of your music for now online, obviously. So to everyone who's tuning in, once again, don't forget to stream his newest single, which is called Blue, featuring Misfits. It's available on multiple digital streaming platforms, and you can also check out his official lyric video. It's on YouTube as well. But so thank you so much, Cesare, for
Thank you for
joining
having
us
me.
here on Mix. I hope you and your family and also your cats are doing well and stay healthy during this time, as well as to everyone who's tuning in. Thank you so much for joining us here on Mix. Once again, this has been Sam with two M's and Cesare. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.